BKB after CTM, and he will get the gyro. Rather the Grimstroke as the gyro gets tossed around. Palos still trying to move in, but now Tims is down. They've got the Monkey King, but can they keep mid one alive here on the Tiny? The answer's going to be no. They've lost mid one. Rogi, he's going to go down to the Sunstrike. Yopaj right on target. And it seemed like a great start to the fight, but in the end, Boom Esports, they still come out on top. But have they found another? Cold Snap is there, KP. He's going to try, but he just can't survive. Echo's out. They've at least got the gyrocopter locked down. Arfu, he'll set up for a great pickup. Onto Yopaj now. They found another. And that's what you want to see here from SMG. You need to find those mistakes here from Boom Esports and capitalize. And that's exactly what they just do.
They managed to hold off the high ground push from Boom. They get the punishment they're looking for on the gyrocopter and the invoker. All off the back of KP throwing his body for it. I mean, he baits them in to find that kill. He uses the illusion to swap in to look for more opportunities and goes from there. Boom has to be a bit careful about approaching specifically the Venge. If they see a tasty Venge kill, they have to be aware. 2 lives on that Venge, swap slow on hand. They can be forced in a rather awkward position if they're not careful. Issue for SMG is, with those kills, they can't really do much on the map. They can't really get the tower out, they can't really retake map control, so it's only equalizing their net worth somewhat. But Boom, they still have control, they just need to not give kills away like that, which is easier said than done. I think Tim's starting to see him fall a bit behind now in terms of being up front as the Monkey King. Still has a lot of impact, but SMG is finally focusing on the Monkey King first, using their Wave of Terror to scout out. And if Tims gets caught out, that usually breaks the engagement for Boom.
Scary times ahead as well, John. Like, you look at Moon now, that Mirana, he's queued up that Daedalus. And while the attack speed on Leap isn't quite as good as it used to be, it is still a lot of damage when you've got a crit stick on your Mirana. That's exactly what Moon is going for right now. The Dark Ascension's out. FBZ, he's going to try and find something. It looks like he does find the Keeper. Rogi trying to survive with the Lotus Orb up, but FBZ eventually is going to get the job done. However, in the backside, they found Yopaj. So mid one, able to take down the Invoker. And you'd have to argue that's very worthwhile for SMG.
They get the punishment again. And Boom, it feels like they're starting to maybe just feel pressure to play faster. Maybe they're worried about dropping a bit too much. Yopaj getting caught out is really not ideal. And with SMG, with their lineup back up, they can actually look for a push now. Maybe look to force out the buybacks as well if they're not careful on Boom's end.
Bot lane, they know FBZ's around, but just immediately going to run to the tree line and TP up. Suddenly that net worth lead now down to 8k. SMG forcing a lot of great errors here from Boom Esports. It's slowly making a comeback. And it should be noted, I mean, they've got some pretty massive power spikes once you get into that later stage of the game. Tiny, one of those great scaling pos ones right now is Palos. He's going to be swapped out. KP going to force out the BKB immediately from Palos. Tims, he's going to show up. They know he's around there somewhere, in fact, mid one. Trying to predict where he jumps, but does barely miss out on finding the monkey. Still without the BKB up, they might be able to force high ground.
They shove in the wave, they force the fortify, they have another wave coming in. Yopaj is up in a few seconds though. It's the high ground defense for Boom. It's in there. They've got the Wukongs to play with, they've got all the spells from Invoker. They will go for a smoke play, looking for a wraparound here.
Be dangerous. Die triangle already kind of occupied here by SMG, but they are just about to leave the area. In fact, KP has already been jumped. Sunstrike in, but mid one. He's there with the avalanche. Look at the cleave damage out. FBZ, he's molting right on the Night Stalker. They've got one down, but FBZ will buy back as Tims. He'll move in, takes down KP, and even finds mid one. You can always rely on Tims to get it done. They found Moon on the Mirana, and now they'll go after Rogi. And there's not much hope here for Rogi as Tims is on the chase with the Balor strike out. He's going to try and heal himself up, but it's not going to be enough. A triple kill out for the Monkey King. And this man, he does it again. Every single time throughout this game one. Every time it looks a little bit dark for Boom Esports, Tims brings it back.
He really just swings back the way of Boom. really just setting up, forcing the buyback now on SMG as their high ground is completely open, no outer towers left. Boom, they could look to shove in a bit. Roshan not too far off from the respawn, so if they don't feel secure, they could just go back for Rosh number 3 and build off there once more, but the racks just melts. Palos standing up there with alacrity, it's just too much. The objectives won't last too long at all.
No, absolutely not. That's one rack's gone, mid lane. They'll go down to the bot instead now. Keep in mind, there's no outer towers left standing here for SMG, so they could go all the way for Megas if they're feeling spicy, but the jump in, Echo slams there with the toss out for Palos. He's going to survive through it. Can he get a Satanic off? No, it was on cooldown. It was on cooldown, but now Yapaj is in with the Chaos Meteors, but it's not going to be enough. They might find another, and they do. Mid one, able to find the kills as now the jump back in. FBZ, he's done Arfu, and they found KP. It'll be 2 down, but now SMG, they might be able to counter-initiate as FBZ gets swapped in once again by KP. Find a third. Not the most... Oh, Tim's? Maybe a fourth. Go trying to find his way out. And it looks like he should be just fine. At the end, losing one lane of barracks, John, but they do protect the other two, and they find a great set of kills for themselves here on SMG.
It's just Boom again, just being a bit too aggressive, not respecting the output of SMG, overstepping their bounds a bit. That's a really preemptive Satanic use from Palos when he went down to the bot racks. He turned it on immediately. He wasn't that low on HP. And that cooldown cost him. If he had the Satanic as he was being jumped, as you pointed out, he would have lived through, Mike. So, small mistakes from Boom being punished. Roshan is up. So this is a really good turnaround for SMG. With this Rosh, with a refresh, with the cheese and Aegis, they could look to go high ground once more, pressure something out. Not sure what the refresh is going to be really good for. They don't have the best refresh heroes on hand, but maybe even just double avalanche toss could make a massive difference in damage output and control here.
I thought maybe they'd go for the double echo on Arfu. You've seen the damage output he can make happen with that big echo slam, but well, at least for now you are correct, John. They do give it over to mid one. Maybe he just holds on to it for now. We'll have to wait and see. And suddenly Boom Esports, not necessarily backs against the wall here, but it is certainly looking a lot more dangerous for them. Is SMG, they're going to try and force a high ground attempt. 23 seconds left for FBZ as they swap in Palos. They've got the gyrocopter, and they'll force out the BKB. Perhaps now, with the Daedalus up on Moon, you have a pretty massive damage influx coming in. You might be able to force this Rax. And without the BKB up on Palos, I'm not really sure if he can force a fight. I think the answer might be no. We'll see though, because FBZ has respawned now on the Night Stalker. They are going to pop the Dark Ascension. They'll move in from the backside onto KP. They'll get rid of that Vengeful Spirit immediately. Back in on mid one now. Tims, he's bashing within that Wukong's command, but mid one, he gets out. But look at the damage output. Rocket Barrage is there. They've got the first life, but they've lost Tims and the Monkey. He'll commit a buyback immediately. He's now the Chaos Meteors and the Cataclysm going to fly in, but the damage is negligible. It's not really that high. And in the end, SMG, they're going to try and back out. And it looks like they're going to be just fine. They do find the melee barracks in the end, and that'll be enough for them.
It's a start. They've got one lane that's going to shove in now. They force the buyback from Tims. The net worth is dragged down. It's about 3K of a difference for Boom in the lead. Mike and SMG is starting to reel back this game a bit. They can't quite go for side lanes. Tier 2s are still up, so progressing further into the high ground is going to be a bit slower than they'd want. And losing the Aegis does put a dent in what mid one would want to do. He doesn't have that safety net anymore. You still have cheese hanging there on Moon at the least, and they could pass that off to the Tiny if they feel the need. But you're reaching the point where the Tiny is getting a bit big. He's got 3.8k HP. He has 31 armor on hand with Grow. Really just maybe freeing up a slot, like consume the Moon Shard, work towards, say, an Assault Cuirass, then you'd be really good to hold your own against the physical output of a Gyrocopter. It's just going to tickle you against all that physical resist you have with your armor and your EHP. The side of Boom now, they're set back a bit. They could still keep applying pressure on bot. With no tier 3, someone has to show up to prevent that split push. And they are playing around a bot jungle. They are smoking up though, looking for that rotation perhaps towards up top where their tier 2 already fell.
They are.
Visibility.
Boom. Oh, they might run into Moon. That's a massive target if they could get it. Moon is a pretty big source of damage right now. However, top lane of tier 3 towers going down. Moon, he has been caught out, but he's got the BKB up. He's just going to try and leap and run his way out. He still has 2 leap charges, so he should be able to buy a bit more time. As now the swap's there. KB, he's going to give him a bit more space to try and back his way out, but no, the Sunstrike is going to fly him, but no, the cheese, he gets it off in time. As now mid one, he'll move in. FBZ, he is going to drop. That was a die back on the Night Stalker. Back in with the Wukong's command though, but nobody's trapped inside of it. Fu and Rogi going to try and back, but now the meatballs come out of the sky. They've got the Keeper of the Light down, but can they find more? Rogi, he'll buy back. Yopaj is down on the Invoker. He can commit his own buyback if he wants to. He might need to, in fact, because Palos may get caught. And there's your magic missile out. KP, he'll lock him down for a second. He has the swap up as well. We'll swap him back into the Avalanche toss it now. But you've got the Cataclysm. It's not going to be enough, though. In fact, Tim's, he's been caught off the back line. 2 heroes down with that buyback. And SMG, they might be able to find another lane of barracks. In fact, as I'm asked the question, John, they've already got it down, and they're going for tier 4 towers. Look at this tiny damage.
Oh man, it's just ridiculous. The bait play from Moon. It's just
Palos?
way too much, although.
Yeah, he's been swapped in. He's going to try and force the fight. With the BKBs up on SMG, he can't do too much. In fact, now mid one, back in, arrows there. They lock him down and take him out. That's a dieback, and it seems like Boom Esports, they are at the end of the road for this game 1, as SMG have made a great comeback, although maybe not. Mid one, he does end up dropping, but doesn't matter. Arfu's still around with Moon. They've got the last piece of the puzzle, and that's GG. So, from a game where Boom Esports, John, they were, what, 96, 97% probability of winning this game, SMG managed to bring it back in the late game. And what a comeback it was.
I can't believe it. Like, Boom had such an amazing start. Tim's was basically another core. They were hitting all their timings on Palos, on Yopaj, and they just made a couple of slip-ups. I think the big one was the one that led into the Roshan. So they overextend on high ground. Palos pops the Satanic a bit too early. Doesn't have that up for...
From late nights on the phone to candlelight dinners, now I'm sitting at home alone, dancing on my feelings. You and Michael Jackson bad for me. Throw away them feelings, do the math, you don't add to me. You don't wanna bill, you just do it for the girls, and it hurts me. You ain't worthy. Got you in a lie saying bye, bye, bye. You ain't worthy. Ain't no mercy. How do you expect me to lie you, boy, when you do that? Telling me this and that just when I pull back. Yeah, it's a shame. And I was gonna take your last name. Baby, don't you know my touch is Midas? I'll find another man, maybe that'll treat me. Make it too easy for you to take me through hell. No, at least you could say I tried. At least I tried. Yeah. At least you could say I tried. Yeah. Say I tried. Good luck to your next one. Her favorite music is probably from your ex one. Hit up my girls and find my next one. Cause giving pressure and gas like an Exxon. How do you expect me to lie you, boy, when you do that? Telling me this and that just when I pull back. Yeah, it's